Hello everyone and welcome to the final draft of Brothers War. At least final on this channel for the foreseeable future. It's possible I will return to this format if it becomes available, and it will of course become available as a quick draft, but I don't like the bot drafts. But um, anyway, I'm sure most of you are more interested in the next set anyway, which will release in a couple of days um, from uploading this video, or maybe not uploading but publishing it. I will now just pick maybe the Junkyard Genius. I do like the Fallacy Vanguard, but I think the Genius can be even more explosive. I like both the color combinations. I actually like all the 10 color combinations, so that's not a that's not a reason to prefer one over the other here. But I think I had the double Fallacy Vanguard deck a while ago, and I have had some black red decks a lot on this channel, but maybe not in the last few drafts. I haven't had it. But anyway, this pack has two very good cards. These uncommons, and it's definitely gonna be one of those. You don't. It doesn't matter which one of it is. You can just take any of them, either of those two. Uh, this is a very good pack too. I mean, the Maze Mind Tome is still gonna be good in any kind of deck. Harvester is really decent, but and also there's an Opportunist. It's a nice green common here, decent white common here. Juggernaut is very decent in aggressive red decks. Well, there are only two options for me: either the Tome or the Junkyard Genius, and I think I have to take the Genius here. Now this is very good, but this is just this helps you actually push for lethal. And now all I need is something like a emergency well to bring these guys back when they die. And I can just have a game plan around, just having a team of creatures that suddenly get menace and some power boosts as well. And I can swing for lethal. So I'm gonna take the other Junkyard Genius here for sure. That's an amazing start for this final draft I have here now. And I'm getting some good cards here still. I think it's rather easy to take the Gixan Infiltrator. Now I do like the Thran Spider, but when I start with two geniuses, I definitely want to just have some kind of sacrifice focus. There's like a Scrapwork Rager and the Wings here too, which I wouldn't mind having if either of those came back to me. But I'm just taking the Infiltrator, and this is a very nice start for a draft. Oh man, things just keep happening. I'm gonna take the Fracture here. I wouldn't mind. Oh, there's a research desk. I didn't actually see it. I only saw these three cards, and I was like, I could take any of these, and it's great. But there's a research desk also. Oh man, it's better than the Fracture. It's just ease. You want to have some removal, but black and red has bunch of removal, and this is only pick 4. There are more removal spells in the draft than Mistra's research desks. So I'm gonna take these. It's also very good, of course, with the Infiltrator, and I hope to pick more of these Infiltrators and the 1-drop red card. But yeah, research desk is the pick here, and this start for the draft is amazing, and I even get another Power Stone Fracture. There's even the Altar, which I might take, but maybe not. It's not great with these cards. It's better when you have Unearth. And token generating of some kind. But yeah, here is going to be now the Power Stone Fracture for sure. And okay, red isn't that open, but with double Genius, I'm going to at least, splash for red. The question is, am I going to take the Warblow or just something like a Combat Courier, which, well, I don't need the Combat Courier. I have only one payoff for, sacrificing stuff. I think I'll take the Warblow. I still like it as a, 2/6-drop creature. It's not necessarily something you need in a sacrifice deck, but I'm not really the sacrifice deck yet, and if red won't be open, I might not even be a full-fledged sacrifice deck, and I just, will get some nice results with these geniuses anyway. And here, I think with double genius and the Power Stone Frax already, I'll just take the Revenant over something like an Unleash Shell. This can be a very nice win condition when you have a lot of Power Stones, for instance, and ways to stabilize the board. But I'm not taking it for this deck. I already have a very good game plan, and I think this Revenant is the better pick over the Unleash Shell. These two are the options. I don't like the Onslaught. 4 mana for 2/1/1s is not enough. This is not a Skullflare deck, but this already has synergy. And if I get the Altar back, this is actually gonna be a nice combination with the Altar. There's a Take Flight this late here. This could be a kind of a moment where I actually just take a blue card. There's also a combat courier. But if I would take a blue card, I would take the take flight. But I think I'll just take the Juggernaut here. It's such a nice card. I will definitely be playing red because of these two geniuses. So now I have a Gixis Keres, I have Sibling Rivalry, and there's a Conscripted Infantry. I don't need a 3-drop. It gives me 2 things to sacrifice, but it's not really that important. Keres is good, but so is the Rivalry. I need 6 mana to combine with the Fracture and 7 mana to combine with the Genius. But I think it's worth it now. It is worth it now. Another Juggernaut. Okay, I could go to a lot of combat couriers as well, but well, I have only one card that cares about me sacrificing something, so the combat courier isn't such a high priority. I'll just take another Juggernaut here. I really like this guy. And a Dredging Glow, raise to the ground for the sideboard. That's acceptable. Yeah, the pack started very well, and after the Power Stone Fracture, things went a little bit less exciting, but it's still a very decent pack here. Oh man, the Juggernaut number 3 might be a little bit too much. I'm just going to take the Bitter Reunion just to maybe you know, if I find actually more Geeks and Infiltrators or the what's the 1-drop Goblin, the 1/2 for 1. Well, you know what I mean. Then the Bitter Reunion becomes better when you get those triggers. Alright, now I can take actually the infantry. I still like it more than the 4 mana instant. Well, I won't be playing the Scrapsmith, so now I'm gonna take a quite late combat courier actually. Here's a card you will just play in most, if not every blue deck you can draft, but this still was like a second to last pick. Alright then, now we have some decisions. Well, the best card in the pack is of course the Siege Veteran, and the only decision is that do I pick that or the Research Desk number 2. This figure isn't as good as the Research Deck. And I think I want to have this kind of like a streamlined deck for this final draft. Now you could take this and it's not a wrong pick. You can actually easily, well not easily, but you can try to splash it if you find an Evolving Wilds or something like an Energy Refractor comes back. You could still reduce the red in this deck to just a splash of the Genius and Juggernaut Unearthed. So I could have like a 4 plains, 4 mountains in the deck and rest swamps. But I think because the Research Desk is still a very high quality card, I'll just take it over the Siege Veteran and won't be, you know, making my mana worse by having a splash here. And now I can have an Excavation Explosion, which actually I like now more than the Remorse, because the Power Stone is really good to ramp into the Juggernauts and also giving me food to sack for the Genius. But there are rare black-red decks that would prefer the Remorse over the Explosion, but this one isn't one of them. And here I have could play a million Juggernauts here, I guess. Now the question is, am I going to take the Gruesome Realization or Gixis Keres? Because this Power Stone is still going to be useful for the reasons I just mentioned. But then again, the Gruesome Realization can be, against some decks, the -1/-1 can be amazing. And then the Divination part isn't bad either. You can sideboard this even out if you really don't want to lose tempo on the Divination and the opponent doesn't get punished by the -1/-1, but I do think it's like a slightly more upside card than the Gixis Keres. Okay, well, let's take the Explosion over the Fracture. The only thing I'm actually missing here is that more Gigs and Infiltrators and more of those 1-drop goblins, it's some kind of blast runner, isn't it? Goblin Blast Runner. Anyhow, the Echo Wellspring would be very nice too, with the Fracture and a couple of Geniuses. It would be really good card in here, but I can't just, pass the Explosion, which will be, very good in making my Juggernauts. Like a turn 4 plays. Right, so here I'm not taking the 7-drop, it's unnecessary. Gigamole is fine, but unnecessary here. The Forge Chanter, Warplow, and the Refractor are the picks to consider. I do have a lot of non-creatures. I'm not sure if I'm gonna play the Reunion though. I don't have a lot of 2s, but I'm gonna take one of these 2s here. I'm just not sure if it's gonna be the Warblow or the Forge Chanter. I think I'll take the Death Toucher. With some number of Power Stone production I have, also the 6 mana version of this spell isn't that hard to cast. Well, it's not a mono red deck or even close to mono red. I haven't gotten many black cards here, but it's still enough with black to make to make the deck have a lot of swamps. I don't need another copy of the Clay Revenant. The Blitz Automaton is a little bit of an unnecessary card. I don't care about the Unleash Shell either. I'm actually gonna redraft the Mox Amber. I have actually can use one of these. So this is my final draft. So let's redraft a card here still to make sure I actually can complete the set when I open the packs, which I think it should be happening rather easily. Here, well, there's a very nice Iconoclast for someone, not me though. Refractor, I just don't know if I need the Refractor. I would take the Eco Wellspring, but now maybe I'll just take the Warblow or the Dreams of Steel and Oil for sideboard. But I think the Warblow is fine. I need the 2-drops. If I don't get the Infiltrators, I need to have something to play on turn 2. And here, okay. Oh, darn it. Well, I'm just super happy I get this very good 2-drop here. I'm just not sure if I'm gonna take the Mutt or the Infiltrator here. With double research desk, with double junkyard genius, fracture here, I actually think I take the infiltrator Mutt. It feels very sad about passing the Mutt, but this can grow in this deck quite nicely. It's a tough one, but I'm taking it. I don't like the fact they came into the same pack, because otherwise around that peak I didn't have that great picks. Like the Golden Warblow is so much worse than a Mutt would be here. But what can you do? Here I can still take the Race to the Ground for sideboard. This deck won't need the Retrieval unit. I can have a couple of Race to the Grounds if the opponent is really artifact heavy with some expensive high impact artifacts. There's no shame in sideboarding 2 of these in that case. Alright, so I don't need a Tower Worker, but I could see matchups where I want to actually run the full 3 Juggernauts. I'm not sure if I'm main decking 3, but I could see sideboarding into 3. Well, can I see myself sideboarding into 4? The Ashnod's Intervention isn't actually that bad. The 4 Juggernauts might be a little bit too much, but I could take the Ashnod's Intervention. It's actually quite nice with the cheap version, the prototype Warblow, because it returns to your hand, so you can use the cheap version early, play the Intervention, and then get the expensive version later on. This is not gonna do anything. I'm not sure if I'm gonna play the Bitter Reunions here, by the way. With only 2 Gigs and Infiltrators, that might be a little bit unnecessary, because they are just still a pretty waste of tempo. 2 mana to not affect the board in any way, and you don't even net a card. You can discard something you don't really need and get 2 fresh cards, but it's still tempo loss. Alright, so here there is a Strong Bull, there's a Power Stone Fracture. I guess I have 2 removals for small creatures. I should maybe have this removal for a little bit bigger creatures. So let's take this over the Strong Bull, I believe. Yep. I would like to have an emergency weld, but well, I would like to have a 3rd Junkyard Genius as well. That's an easy pick. Of course, the Announcer is good, but not actually in this deck. I have the Bitter Reunions and the Gruesome Realizations, but those are the only cards that draw me cards to trigger this guy. And even if I had more card draw in this deck, I wouldn't pass the 3rd Genius. It's amazing that I have so many of them here. And okay, Phyrexia Demon is just a 2-drop I still want to have. I don't need the Avenger, I have expensive stuff. The Juggernauts, the Warblows can be expensive stuff, and I have even more Juggernauts. Well, I have 1 more Juggernaut in my sideboard. So yeah, Phyrexia Demon, just to make sure I can curve out. So let's see, the curve looks like this. I think the Bitter Reunions are gonna go away. I'm not sure about the Automaton either. Might be a little bit unnecessary. But I don't think I'm gonna make any cuts right now. I'll see how the rest of the pack goes. Mishra's Bubble. Well, again, only 2 Infiltrators. I don't really know if I really care about the Bubble or the Unleash Shell with 2 Fractures here. The 5 mana spell is quite expensive. I can't use Power Stones to fuel this either. And I have so many playables here that I actually do think I don't even have room for the bubble. This is gonna be a 16 land deck because the research desks are so easy. You can easily find more lands with these, so I can play 16 lands, but I still will just take 20 gems here. That's a little bit greedy. I'm not gonna play this, but I take 20 gems because I'm sure I don't have room for the Mithras bubble. Here I can take one of two things: the Gixis Caress, which is main deckable, or the Whirling Strike, which is also main deckable. And this also can be the kind of card you will cut from your main deck, but you are happy to sideboard in against like bombs. And Whirling Strike is just it's a fine card, but I think with the amount of removal I have, I don't need the Whirling Strike. So I'll take this Gixis Caress now. Maybe cut it from the main deck. Okay. What would be the count of Juggernauts if I took all of them? I don't know what it would be, but it would be pretty done. I mean, I think it would be like a 5 at least. Anyway, now it's time to pick the strong bull. It's gonna be good in this deck. I have a bunch of artifacts, and well, this is 9 artifacts, but I will also have cards that create the artifacts. Not sure if I'm gonna play all of them, but I'm sure I'm gonna play the third explosion. Okay, so I guess I got more explosions than I got those goblin blast runners. Which is kind of funny, because usually you can get those blast runners quite late, but maybe people just didn't open them or something. I think it's time to cut the Bitter Reunion. It's, well, I see only one more card, one more pack I haven't seen earlier, and it actually does have a blast runner here. Well, I'm gonna take it regardless. And I think I might still be cutting at least one of these, maybe both. But yeah, this is an easy pick. There's some nice uncommons here, but of course not for my colors. It would have been funny to have the fourth genius, but I think I can leave with 2. Sadly, I didn't get any emergency worlds. I didn't see them. I would have picked one quite high, but what can you do? Alright, so here another strong bull, pristine talisman. I don't really need that many 3-drops more, but I don't really think I need the talisman either, so I'll take the strong bull. And oh man, I think 3 Juggernauts and 1 heavyweight Demolisher, they are enough, expensive stuff. So I'm gonna just be greedy and take 20 gems. I'm not gonna sideboard into 4 Juggernauts. It's just not happening. Okay, I think this deck is kind of done. I just have to make some cuts and that's it. I have 1 automaton here already, somewhere here. I'm gonna take the Unleash Cell now. If I actually need this, I'm not going to start it. I'm not going to start with that card in the main deck. No one is blue-black. Well, let's take the Synthesis guy away then. This doesn't matter. So 1 last card from this set. What will it be? Well, don't think I'm gonna play that. Okay, no Evolving Wilds, sadly, because they are also nice, kind of free ways to trigger these without even using a spell slot. The Blast Runner and the Infiltrator do like some Evolving Wilds, but I do have here ways to sacrifice things. I have 2 research discs. I might play like 1 Reunion, but I have 2 Power Stone Fractures, 1 Phyrexia Demon, triple Genius, 2 Strong Bulls. Okay, that is a lot. Well, let's start with something that's, I think, obvious. The Blitz Automaton isn't really needed here. How many of these 2 mana creatures I need to play just to have a healthy mana curve? I could see cutting Warplows, but actually this is 6 2-drops, 2 1-drops. I could still see cutting 1 Warplow, because as you can see I have 29 cards in here. I do need to cut. I mean, I think it will be a 16 land deck. Maybe if I played both research desks, both Bitter Reunions, I could play 15. But without an Evolving Wilds, I would have to play an 8-7 mana base, and that gets kind of awkward. I do not like to run 7 lands for colors that involve, some early drops. So with 7 swamps, I would have difficulties to cast these black 2-drops. With 7 mountains, I would have difficulties casting the Blast Runner or the Bitter Reunions. So it's gonna be 16 lands. I think from the main deck I can cut the Gruesome Realization. I don't really need it. And I think I can cut the Gixis Caress. Now this is... I can cut the Ashnod's Intervention. It's not really necessary. And So that's 2 more cards. I do like the rivalry quite a lot. I have no kind of a free ways to sacrifice creatures. They all cost mana, at least 2 or 3, or it could cost 1 if I steal an artifact creature. Of course, this can, this can actually steal any artifact. It doesn't have to be a creature. So if opponent has like a troublesome artifact, I can steal also that and still sacrifice it with the Strong Bull or the Junkyard Genius. So I think I will play this sibling rivalry here. And 2 Juggernauts in the main deck seems to be the correct count. This is 16 creatures. Yeah, the Warplows are decent, but maybe with the amount of... Yeah, I'm gonna cut one of them. I can play these 5 and this Blast Runner also. This is still like 6... Well, it is actually 7 creatures for the first 2 turns, because the Revenant is still, it can trade with X1s, and this format has playable 1 toughness creatures, so this can, sometimes be an annoying thing for the opponent to face. And now I think 1 bitter reunion. If I do that, I will still have 1 reunion to dig into some stuff and have some additional synergy with these guys. But this seems to be the deck here. I have 8 black, 12 red, but that lies a bit because these are effectively black cards, because I want to have the option to play these at on turn 2. So let's say it's 10 black and 12 red cards and few colorless cards. Alright, I mean, this does look very good. The creature count is 15. It's still because you don't want to play a low creature count with the geniuses, because you really want to benefit from the wide board of creatures to make the activated ability here a really substantial threat. So I do like to have a lot of creatures for this, and now that I don't have any means to bring back creatures from the graveyard, not counting the unearth activations, and well, this thing, but it's just the 1-2. I want to have all these creatures. That is now what, 5 removal spells. This thing, which can often be a removal spell with the amount of sacrifice I have. Ways to dig into specific cards that I happen to need. Yeah, this deck seems pretty darn good. Let's just put the 8+8 lands here, I suppose. There's a lot of things I could sideboard, but the problem with sideboarding in these kind of decks that are quite synergy driven is that cutting any card here is actually going to decrease the amount of synergy I have. Even the conscripted infantry here is quite good, because this does give me sacrifice fodder. I trade the 3-1 with something, and then the 1-1 is something I can easily just sacrifice. So all the cards in here are actually... maybe the Juggernaut isn't like it's not that good synergy with sacrificing, because unearthing costs 6, so I would have to have a lot of mana to benefit from the unearthed creature that's about to exile on the same turn. But if I had a lot of mana, and I can use power stones for the unearthed, so I could see having this unearthed and still maybe sacrifice it for power stone fracture or the genius, for instance. But anyway, I like the Juggernauts not necessarily because they can synergize with my sacrifice things, but I like them just as heavy hitters. I have very aggressive tone in this deck with the triple genius, and this is a very good card to just help you push more damage through, because of the usually when the opponent blocks this, they're gonna take some trample damage, and then you unearth this, they're gonna take some other additional damage, and I don't have to deal like the full 20 with the Junkyard Geniuses when I have some of these Juggernauts. Alright, now let's add the lands. How do we celebrate the final Bro draft on this channel now? I guess we'll use Bro lands. Which of these is good? Let's do something very crazy I don't usually do. Let's use both kind of lands. This is very unusual for me, but I'm gonna do it for this special occasion. Alright, that's the main deck. And I want to say that I do like this set a lot as a limited set. I think I like it more than even Neon Dynasty. It is my favorite draft set out of all of these that have been released within this current standard rotation. It's just so nicely balanced, and while there are some amount of bomb rares, it's still maybe not. I mean, it hasn't impacted at least my drafts that much. And all the colors are really, they are, of course, blue has some maybe weaker commons, but it has also some very nice commons, so you don't really need to ignore the blue. You can really have a good strong blue decks. But yeah, let's focus on this game. Opponent has a good start here, but so do I. Especially when I drew the third land, so I don't have to worry about being stuck at 2 here. Well, I mean, I'll just play the Infiltrator for sure. I sadly have to take 4 damage here. If I was on the blade, would be... I mean, either if I had this on turn 1, or if I was on the blade, this would be less awkward, but this can be now opponent having some nice you know, aggressive start here. They didn't play anything now, though. Well, I mean, they didn't play a creature yet. Don't think there are really that many flash creatures they could play. Maybe there's nothing. I guess there's the Urza's Battletop, the rare, but if I play the infantry, they will just leave the Revenant to block. I think I will play the Junkyard Genius here, but let's just attack, see if they have... Okay, they didn't have anything now, but they could still have a counter spell. Let's hope they don't. Yeah, okay, so good. I have no way to use the mana from the Power Stone yet, because I haven't drawn any of those artifacts, which I do have plenty of in this deck. But the fact the opponent missed their turn 3 play helps me a lot here. Now I don't care about them attacking with the Transmogrant. I can go to 12 and I can start, you know, threatening some damage output myself. Plus I was wrong. I can actually use the mana on this activated ability. Let's say if the opponent taps out here on something nonsense, I could actually play the Blast Runner and go and deal a lot of damage with my guys. This would deal 4, this would deal 4, this would be dealing 2. I could be attacking for 10 with 2 of the guys having menace, but of course it all depends on what they are gonna have here. Yeah, that makes the plan a little bit worse for sure. But the explosion is kinda decent, although it's not so great when I can't do anything else than play it. I kinda want to have the Infiltrator picking another counter so it can attack past that Revenant. So if I do a Bitter Reunion here, I can use the Power Stone to activate this thing and I can play this thing. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. Maybe the infantry is a little bit unnecessary. I'm gonna keep the race up, although that means they can just block with the Rager. Maybe that's still what I'm doing. Trade with the Rager here. They might even block the Genius. I don't mind if they block this because I have another one. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it like this. Let's play a Bitter Reunion on this turn. Just to prevent this from blocking the Infiltrator, and I will not have the infantry here now. Draw 2, no lands, but it doesn't matter because I can still do this and do this. And now I can attack with everything. And I'm dealing at least some damage, and they will block with the Rager, but they have no good block for the Revenant. That's the entire point here. I guess they might choose to double block their Blast Runner, but why would they do that? I am a bit sad about not drawing a land, but what can you do? The Transmogrant isn't a lethal threat yet. They might, if they just unearth this, I don't think I mind. I will take 6 damage though, but I can deal a lot of damage, and I do have the Sibling Rivalry too. I can maybe steal something, but yeah, this could be a little bit awkward now. Might have to use the... Yeah, I might have to use just... This is not great because I do need to kill this Stalker for sure. Otherwise I'm just not gonna do well, but I can sacrifice. I have to sacrifice the Power Stone. It will allow me to deal 7 damage to them. Sadly, they're gonna be at 4, so the explosion won't be enough to beat them. But it is the best play for me anyway. It has to be. I didn't draw any lands despite having the... I can't use this mana for anything, can I? No. So, I mean, despite drawing the... playing the Bitter Reunion, I just didn't find a land. But of course now the opponent has to block both of these, otherwise the Excavation Explosion will be lethal. And they can deal 6 to me on this turn, but unless they have like the black spell that costs 1 mana that gives +2/+0, then it's not lethal. If they do have it, they can just win right now by dealing 8. But... Oh, and by the way, if they do unearth this guy, they would go to 3 and this is lethal, but I don't think they're gonna unearth this unless they have a lethal attack actually coming up. Now, if I draw a land, the Sibling Rivalry can also help winning. This guy can't block, so this is gonna attack regardless. They can leave the Revenant to block, so if they have multiple blockers... Currently, of course, they need to block the Infiltrator, so if they play one creature and I do draw a land, Rivalry taking the creature allows me to win, maybe. Okay, they actually didn't leave the Revenant to block, so that means they have... Okay. And I didn't draw the land. I don't know if the land would have been that good in this situation when they actually... I mean, what would I do with 4? Nothing that I can... I mean, the only thing I'm kind of don't have the option for is the Sibling Rivalry. Well, this is not great, but I guess they do need to have 2 answers. I believe they just do have it, though. I mean, if they have to deal with both of these. Otherwise, the Excavation Explosion will be enough. But let's first see. Maybe they have like an Urza's rebuff and they tap both of these. It's not impossible situation. No, I just have to do this and hope they don't actually have 2 pieces of interaction, but I believe they will have. Oh, that's 4 mana. Sorry, 5 mana. There's nothing for 1, is there? Why didn't they leave the Revenant to block? This is so risky. I could have... Wow. That Revenant attack was just nonsense there. If that was the game plan, they should have left this to block. Well, thank you, opponent. But yeah, I guess I needed to be a little bit lucky here. I drew only 3 lands in here and 11 spells. But yeah, they are blue-black. They have a Trench Stalker, for which I do have 2 Power Stone Fractures. I have the Sibling Rivalry. I could sideboard in an Unleash Shell if I really hate that card there. They have a Desynchronize, which is kind of good against my Juggernauts. But I have these Woblos though. They can block the... Even the 2 mana version can block the 4/5. But they are blue-black. They're gonna get the lifelink for it quite easily. I guess I could play a Gix's Kares too. The realization doesn't do that much based on the cards I saw there. Because you want the -1/-1 to be a good mode. A hard to cast divination that costs you 2 life is not really usually worth running unless you care about the drawing 2 cards per turn apart, which I don't. Clay Revenant. There's nothing that is suddenly bad based on what I saw. I guess this infantry isn't so great against the Clay Revenant. Well, you know, actually I can do this. Infantry goes away, Gix's Kares goes in. And maybe I don't bother with the Unleash Shell. I don't think there was much targets for the Race to the Ground. No, there wasn't. Nothing. I mean, there are targets, but not ones I'm happy to target with this thing. So I'm not going to play the Unleash Shell here. I maybe have to be a little bit more careful with the fractures, because the 4/5 can be a kind of a brick wall. And when it starts getting life for them, my erasing can be a little bit awkward. Okay, well, the research desk should find me something. They also mulligan there. At 6 mana I could use the Sibling Rivalry Fracture combination. This is so dirty. I have these 2 kind of arts for the basic land, so why did I do it? Well, I said it was a special occasion. Now, I will just want to find the swamp, I believe. I wish I had this. I would really like to have the Wellspring. Well, there is that. So, But I think Swamp is high priority now, so I'll just activate these. Hopefully I don't have like too expensive cards I can't cast even on the next turn. Well, that didn't quite happen, but it could have happened. Anyway, Strong Bull will be my next turn play. I can play this other research desk. I kind of lose some sacrifice triggers for my things, but I can leave these unearthed cards to my graveyard, maybe use them later. And I have only 3 cards that care about sacrificing, so I can't really always combine the research desk with them. Revenant. Okay, I got the Swamp here, that's good. I have to play this, otherwise I lose it. And now I'm good to go here. Juggernaut coming up. Not yet, but soon. And I can play the Thraxodemon in the meanwhile and just crack this. I guess I should do it in the other order. I might choose a card I want to play instead of the Thraxodemon on the next turn. Okay, they are thinking what to do. That's a good one. Getting card out of the Wellspring. I think they did mulligan here, so now they are gonna kind of at parity. They got 2 cards out of this. But they have no pressure now. Alright, so that's a reason to actually save this trigger a little bit. Oh no, it's not a trigger because this actually is just an, a passive ability. Either you have this +2 mode or not. It's not a triggered ability. You can't stifle this. So yeah, that actually does mean one thing though. It does mean like if I do want to. Well, let's not do anything right now. There's no point using this now. But let's see what they do. If this is gonna be a good attack with 3 damage, maybe I will. If I draw a land, I can just play the Juggernaut. I don't have to sack this right now. There's no rush with the Blast Runner here to deal 3 damage. They are at 20. There's no rush. But I could, crack this to find the 5th land. But then again, I'm not really willing to pick a land from this when I'm at 4 already. So I just naturally would prefer to find the 5th land and then get a good spell up from this research desk. So that's what I'm gonna do. I don't want to use this now because if I take a spell here, even if I draw a land, I couldn't play the Juggernaut because I would lose the spell. So I'm gonna do just this. And Geki's Caress is probably good enough to just run right now. This actually doesn't even have a good attack anymore, the Blast Runner I mean, because they can just double block. I can kill only one of them and I lose my Blast Runner here. So let's use the Geki's Caress. There's no reason to be no reason to rush here. So there's a Ursa's rebuff, desynchronize, Skull Flare. The rebuff is now sadly they can actually play the island and the Skull Flare and still leave mana up for the rebuff. But I believe if I play the Mishra's Juggernaut, then they can counter that and I still have the Unearth available, which I kind of like. Yeah, you could still take the rebuff here or kind of force them to either play the Skull Flare or leave mana up for the desynchronize, but there's nothing even for me to desynchronize right now. I think I'd rather let them have the counter spell. It's anyway going to be a lot worse. The counter spell when I know about it. They can use it on the Juggernaut. Be my guest. This is not going to grow at all anytime soon. I drew the land. I have a bitter reunion because I can of course cast now the Juggernaut with just the Power Stone, but maybe I still am gonna play the land here now, and I do want to because I need 6 for this combination anyway, and I can't use Power Stones to cast either of those spells. So yeah, let's do this. Let them counter this if they want to. It will be in my graveyard still. Okay, they chose not to counter. That's totally fine for me. Now they can double block it with the Revenant and the Rager, but I don't mind. I do want the Revenant to go away. Sorry, the Scrapwork Rager to go away anyway. That allows me to attack with my other stuff. I think the Skullflare will eventually be killed. But they do have the rebuff, so I mean, I guess I need to offer them something to counter. I guess this is one thing that I can offer them to counter. I guess I could use the research desk this turn now. Because they wanna probably kill the Juggernaut. So yeah, I'm gonna do it like this. I'm gonna attack with these two. I'm willing to trade the Blast Runner on the Rager now. So I do it like this, and then I'm going to crack this to make the Blast Runner into a better one. I didn't want to do this pre-con, but just they might tap these. Although I think I would prefer them to use this spell to tap stuff. Okay, only lands, but it's fine. I get my thing now. You know, the rivalry fracture combination. And at least I don't have to draw 2 lines now. Yep, that's it. And. Play the land. Wonder if I just should use one of these. I'm gonna use one of these. I'm kind of missing a Blast Runner activation here, but kind of want to have something to play. Maybe I find a Scrapyard Genius. I do have 3 of them. Or an Explosion or Strong Bull. I guess it doesn't matter, they're gonna counter it regardless. So let's play the Explosion on here. And then I can use the second Explosion on the next turn. Man, this research desk is just good. It is 2 cards for 5 mana, but the way you can, you know, split the costs, it's so much better than a 5 mana draw 2, and of course you get a pretty good amount of selection. It's not just draw 2, it's choose one of those 2. And yeah, exile and then play until end of your next turn is not the same as drawing cards, but it's very close. It's close enough at least. Okay, so they did the Unearth here. This again back to no, oh, they, well, I mean, they're not gonna block. Why not? Why would they block there? Okay. And let's just, I think it's best used to just try to explode, make this guy explode, and I don't quite have the Juggernaut mana. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, with 9 I can actually unearth and sacrifice it for the demon even. But I don't have to play the land on this turn. I can do it on the next turn. So let's attack for 3 here. I could do the research desk part now, but I actually want to save that now for the Blast Runner maybe. Although I do have a lot of trigger. Well, I can sacrifice the Power Stones with this thing, but I think I'm still gonna wait with the research desk. I kind of might just want to unearth this on the next turn. Combat Courier is not so good against Trample. You know, this block and sack doesn't work so well against Trample. They have 1 card only. They can absorb 2 of the trample damage with this Revenant. Okay, they understandably draw some cards. They are flooding here for sure. Latinum Adept. Well, that's something I can steal. But I don't need to do that right now. So I'm gonna proceed with this plan, I believe. Well, I could actually just steal this guy and kill the Latinum Adept and deal a lot of damage. They can't even return this yet. They take 5 and then I have still the Juggernaut up. Okay, fine, I'm actually doing that. This because it will, you know, of course do the... It will activate sort of the... It's not activating, but you know what I mean. Enable the blast runner enhanced mode. So now they have no blockers. This is gonna be entering tapped if they would use 4 mana for it. This is only unearthed. They have 2 cards, and I have here 5 trample damage. And this has menace and deals 3. It has menace because of the research desk and the Phyrexia demon. So they didn't even bother attacking with the 1/1. They just wanted to draw the card right away, and that's really not gonna help them. So they need something. Yeah, they have been flooding, of course. Okay, Burnished Heart, and then again they can play the tapped Covenant. But this is this a lethal attack now if I do the Juggernaut and the research desk? I think it is. Yep, it is. Because I can make the blast. I can actually even do it like this, just to make it kind of sweet. Get the counter on the Infiltrator too, but yeah, this allows me to have a lethal attack. Even, I mean, the Infiltrator was just not needed. Okay, well, there's an Excavation Explosion even for the next turn, but they will die here now. Okay. I think this deck is pretty sweet. I didn't need a Junkyard Genius, by the way, in either of these games, the activated ability. Here it would have been, of course, pretty insane, because I had so much Power Stones and mana. I could have, if I just drew one of the 3, I could play and then activate it multiple times to have a pretty high damage output here. Okay, I need a swamp, but I can have the explosion on turn 3, and then if I have any land drawn by that, by turn 4 I can play this Juggernaut. And the opponent mulligans. I'm gonna keep this one. Okay. Opponent has 61 card deck. Well, this is traditional draft near the end of a season. Traditional drafts do usually get easier when the set starts getting old. I don't know, the set completers or some, you know, actual very good players move to ranked drafts or something. I don't know. I have just noticed that happening quite often. But hey, I haven't drawn the swamp, but I've drawn 2 mountains here. Let's see if there's a good target for the Excavation Explosion. I might actually even choose to get the Might here. There's nothing really this is gonna do to me, but I mean, there's no play for me on the next turn unless I draw like a swamp. And I have the Phyrexia I can use as removal. I want to have the you know, the Juggernaut on the next turn. Also, it has +1 and +0 menace, so I would be taking some damage there. Now this would have been a lot better target for the removal, but I mean, I'm gonna have a 5 power trampler, then I'm gonna have another 5 power trampler. I even got the swamp here now. But it's very hard kind of to sideboard anything against a 60 card deck, because they might not draw the stuff that I'm gonna sideboard for. But then again, I can do some other sideboarding if I feel necessary. Right, so they have only 1 card, and they draw 1. If this gets like no, I will block with the Juggernaut, so I don't even have to care about killing this. Plus, if I kill this, I can't even cast the Genius because I have only 1 swamp. So if they make this into Lifelinker, it's fine. I can just still block with the Juggernaut. They would have to have a... Well, I guess if they make this into a Lifelinker and then give it Menace here, yeah, that's a possibility, but... And I think they should give the Menace regardless, because then I can't block it, but of course I have I almost have a lethal attack, not quite though. But I can use the Power Stone Phyrexia on next turn to make it so this enters tapped. If it didn't enter tapped, would I have a lethal attack? This is 12. No, it wouldn't be, because this doesn't give haste to itself. This would be 12 damage, and this would be, you know, 2, even if it... Yeah, it's not enough. But... Well, let's see if the opponent has anything. I'm actually facing a lethal attack, but these things have to, of course, attack. So let's say they have a counterspell. I will lose. That's how it goes. I will lose to a counterspell, and there's nothing I can do to play around it, because I have only one swamp. If I had 2 swamps, that would be no problem. Because I can play Revenant and one of these black spells. Let's see if they're gonna counter this. Oh, it doesn't seem like they have it. Okay. Let's play the land, just in case I draw another land. I might need the full amount of mana, I'm not sure. But this of course should be now quite easy. My Juggernauts will be lethal. Any reason to do anything? Well, I believe I'm gonna play this and the research desk, but... Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have played this. Of course I can't both play and activate it. Oh well. Because I need the swamp again. Well, I think this should be quite fine. They did, by the way, choose to equip this guy. This is lethal because of the trample. Yeah, that doesn't help. Alright. Well, this might be... I mean, just based on the opponent's card deck size, they can't have like a 60 card deck which has, you know, card quality as good as mine, because they must have some filler cards there. And I guess we saw some in that game already. So, what's my idea here? I don't think I really need to change anything. None of this really matters. Heva Might can be like a... Well, it can block with the infantry, but am I going to really change something here just because of that? Raise to the ground. Not really targets for it. I'll have the same deck now. I yet have to win with the Junkyard Genius activation. I haven't activated it even once. I'm on the draw, but I have 3 spells I can cast. If I draw 1 land, I can cast everything here. So this is maybe not the most aggressive Coven, especially the Revenant is, you know, quite good against my start here now. But at least I did draw a 3rd land right away, so maybe I can even play these as 6 drops. There are more colors now. There's no point playing this as a 1-1. I don't need to block anything, and it doesn't attack through the Revenant that well. So it's just a matter of time they want to find their swamp, and they already had the swamp there. And yeah, they still have the monstrosity deck size there. So the infantry will be bad against the Revenant as well, and I'll just play a strong bull here. They might discard, make me exile one of them, but I still can play the other after that. And it's not like they are pressuring me anyway. I'm actually not so sad about the lands here, because I do need the Warplows to be 6 drops. They don't really do anything against the Revenant. And the infantry does leave an artifact here. Okay, so they did that. I don't know why, but they did that. Be my guest. So at least the infantry, you know, gives some fodder for the strong bull, but it's not like I'm going to trade with the Revenant here. I'm not. Wow, okay, they really shouldn't be attacking like that. That's an absolute mistake. I don't care if they trade with the Blast Runner. They just take 3 from the infantry bite, and they chose to deal 1 to me instead of blocking the infantry here. And I couldn't even have attack with the Blast Runner either. I could have only basically attacked with the strong bull, but they're actually putting a raise up here. I still refuse to play the warp blow as a 1-1. Maybe I should consider it though. It's something I can sacrifice for the fracture. Then that becomes a 3-2. Yeah, let's play one of these now that I don't draw the more lands. Here. If I draw 2 lands, I will still have the warp blow coming up. There's no fear for them. Okay. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to use the Phyrexia demon here, but let's cancel this mana tapping, which is just nonsense. Let's do this. Draw a card here. And now next turn I have the second warp blow. Plus now I can just do this. Of course not attacking with the infantry, that doesn't seem to make too much sense. And now I'm not going to use the 1-1 option here at all. Again with the aggression here. Yeah, well, they didn't have a 4th land. But yeah, this was a little bit of a... at least it wasn't the final match of this this format for me now. Let's hope the final match can be a little bit more exciting, perhaps. There's not much I can say about that. On the play with the research desk, digging deep to find a mountain. This seems to be an easy choice. Let's still play with this thing first. I can still play and crack this on the next turn. Maybe I can deal 1 damage. Or do they have a... okay, they have just a bubble. And there is them. Huh. There is the mountain right away, so I don't need to actually crack this. Because the desk might show something like Juggernaut and maybe a 4-drop. I mean, this is gonna usually show something I can play a land or up to 3 mana spell, but I don't think I even want to do it now, because what I want to do is just play the Genius on the next turn to get me a Power Stone token, for instance. So I'm not going to crack the desk right now. Mine Worker, okay. So I don't care if they attack. They know about the explosion, so they are not gonna play anything that's amazing against that. But I'm actually more interested in the racing. So if they attack for 2, I don't care. I actually prefer them to attack for 2 than gain 1 life. Because I of course could have left this guy to block, but then they don't attack and they gain 1 life. Yeah, but they know about, thanks to the bubble, they know about the explosion, so they won't be targeting it with, giving me a good target for it. Prison sentence on there. Well, that gives me my fracture an easy thing to sack. Maybe I have to... okay, they actually went for the life gain. That's fine. I think it's gonna be a strong bull. Yeah, I don't need to use the explosion. Let them gain some life. Besides, as long as I have this explosion in my hand, they are maybe, you know, refusing to play some kind of, you know, better target for this. But now, of course, I do have, and I know I could crack this, but I'm not gonna crack it before the infiltrator is gonna get a counter out of it. But now that I do have the fracture, I don't actually mind using this even on something like a mine worker here. Okay, that's a good one. That is a good one. I might, yeah, I need to save the fracture for a big spell. A big token, I mean, that thing there. So they could have a Gaia's Gift. That would be a little bit annoying for sure. Let's attack first. I don't have any instant speed interaction, but I can sacrifice a couple of artifacts with the strong bull, of course. So I think with the Gaia's Gift there... I Okay, I'm gonna do this now. I'll play the Infiltrator, and I will actually try to find a land with this thing or something. I mean, if it's not land, a chief spell, which hopefully will happen. I could have 2 Juggernauts here, of course. Well, 1 Juggernaut, and I would need to draw a land to make that thing a castable spell. Too risky. So let's leave that permanently to exile. And now I can just next turn I can play the Fracture, sacrificing the Junkyard Genius. Infiltrator will be... I mean, assuming they're gonna crack the mask. Maybe they don't crack it, but if they do, I will have a very decent turn here now. Yep. They do gain some life with the Mineworker here, so it's gonna help them a bit, but it's not gonna help them that much. Alright. And that actually allows me to both use also the... that allows me to use the Explosion too. Maybe I do wanna go for it. No, I will play the Strong Bull instead. Yep, of course. So this is gonna die. This is gonna be sacrificed. They don't have good blocks now, so let's play the Strong Bull instead. Yeah, the Infiltrator is gonna so easily gain counters in this deck, and it's not even like a once per turn. It can happen as many times per turn as I want, and of course I have this nice little synergy package with Strong Bull and Clay Revenant, so it takes a ton of mana, of course, but still, it is in the deck. Stalwart, right, that's fine. Siege Veteran, well, that must mean they have a Gaia's Gift. They wouldn't play that card, unless they are really desperate, of course. Yeah, but... yeah, I mean, why would they... I just kill it. if they wouldn't have a Gaia's Gift. So let's see. The worst case scenario is that they do have a Gaia's Gift. If I attack first, well, it's not gonna help too much. I think I'm gonna crack this first, just to see, get another counter on the Infiltrator and all that. But let's see if I draw something that's gonna change my plans here. Well, I don't draw it, but you know, select one of these cards, which are just lands. So that's, I guess, fine. And now they did have priority there, but that's because the Mineworker is ready to be used. The problem is they can still use the Gaia's Gift because this is not an instant. If I attack here, this becomes a 3/3. It can eat... well, I guess it can't really eat, so I'm gonna attack first. Because I can sack 2 artifacts for the Strong Bulls in here, and they can only block 1 with the Siege Veteran. And they have to jump with the Mineworker and the Stalwart. And if they, you know, block with these guys and give the gift, yeah, I think it's not the worst now. Both of these threaten to be 4/5s. Okay, there is that. Okay, they triple block there. Well, that's making it quite easy, actually. I mean, I'll just put this first and this here, if they want to save one of these first ones with the Gaia's Gift. Then I can post-combat kill the Siege Veteran. But of course I can now just let this happen. Now, on this, they are gonna be at 11 when they use the Mineworker. I could do some extra damage here with these guys, but there's no point doing anything right now. I will see what they do. They at least gain 1 life with the Mineworker, and then I let the... I mean, if they're gonna if they're gonna pass the... I could save the Infiltrator here, because of course I can make it No, it's actually impossible. It's gonna be only 6 toughness and they will deal 6. Okay, so this would be just fine for me if they actually are gonna make it like... Okay, this... Wow, they didn't have the guy's gift. This is still a very good trade. I mean, this infiltrator traded with 3 creatures. They do get 1 token though. Now, am I gonna... I can do it on their turn, of course, yep. Because I can sack this and return it at instant speed. So I can deal 1 damage with this thing. Oh, another color. This could be a 4-4 now, but 4-4 won't be enough because the strong bull is, of course, just well, it's, let's say, pretty darn good. Now, does that mean I shouldn't play the Revenant, sack the Revenant now? No, it doesn't. I can still, yeah, threaten quite a bit of, yeah. I'm gonna make them go to 6 now. I believe that's what I wanna do, because I do have the mana to return this immediately. And there is a Phyrexia demon, so now I can threaten these guys to be, of course, 4/5s. So if this blocks, they will of course lose the 4/4, and they can't really double block either with the token, because then they will lose. So yeah, this is just gonna be too nasty for them to deal with. They even know about the explosion, so they know they are dead. Actually, I had here lethal damage anyway, didn't I? Well, I still do. Because what I can do is... well, sack this guy. Because this is gonna be 3... Yeah, because this makes a power stone. I think I have enough... I have just about enough mana, do I? No, I have even 1 extra mana. Because I don't need to play the land. Because I'll do this and then I can sack the power stone still. Yep, these strong bulls are quite nasty, nasty cards. Alright. So they do have a siege veteran. That means I want to get rid of it, but I have 3 explosions, 2 Phyrexia here. Now I could have also an unleash shell, but it's very expensive, and the rest of the stuff I saw is pretty cheap. I think I'll just have to, you know, not use these unless I have to. I mean, I want to leave 1 removal spell to my hand in case they have the siege veteran. The realization might actually be quite nice here because they do have a stalwart and a mine worker. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna cut the infantry there and play the gruesome realization here. I think I still play with the two Woblows here, perhaps. Any reason to play the race to the ground? Not really. These are still 2 drops. I'm happy to play. Yeah, it's fine. Let's play the Woblows. And they are of course 6 drops too. And now this is a very nice hand. Let's see if I can win a game with the genius activations. I mean, I don't have to do that, but it's kind of the point of this card. Well, this is a nice curve out 1, 2, 3 here. This is a 2/2 that creates a Power Stone token. But yeah, the idea is that you have this very nice activated ability there, which I haven't been able to use in this event. But then again, have I even lost a game in this event yet? So I haven't just needed this. Okay, that's a good one, but I have a good blocker on it. Now I'm not sure if I want to raise the mod here. So I can attack for 1, they attack for 2. They are green-white on the play. I think I'll be a little bit more careful now. I will leave this Revenant to block, because of course I'm not going to block with the Infiltrator here at all. That's gonna grow here, potentially. Yeah, I wish I had my gruesome realization, although I would need another swamp before that happens. Okay, genius. Land, land, and an elite. So they can only take a land if they want to. Or make it into a 2-2. 1-1 is good for them. There's the mask, which is something I will, at least the first copy I will deal with the sibling rivalry, and they haven't gotten their bum rare at least yet. Well, there's not really an attack for me yet. So do I care about them? No, I'm gonna play this now. Because of course I can use the Phyrexia demon with the sibling rivalry so that I can also use my power stones. So with 5 lands and 2 power stones I will already be having enough. I will have enough mana to steal something with this and then sacrifice it for the Phyrexia demon. But of course this needs to first untap. But if they make a 5-5 token now, I'm not... Well, okay, now I actually do want to have a Power Stone Phyrexia. This I kind of want to save for the sibling rivalry. I don't... Sorry, not the sibling rivalry, the Siege Veteran, of course. Well, let's play this guy first. I'd have only 1 swamp, which is a little bit annoying. But yeah, this is not gonna be used now. So hopefully I will find a Power Stone Phyrexia, because I'm not currently... I mean, I need to both clear the Rust Goliath and a big token here. And the sibling rivalry helps only deal with one of them. Opportunist is okay, but I'm not worried about that too much. I'm gonna play the swamp because this activated ability is black and red, so even if I draw my the discard a card to draw 2, I don't want to discard a swamp here. So the sad thing is... Okay, well, should I actually just I don't have to draw a card with this thing. I could take the rivalry here and then use the... I mean, take this guy with the rivalry and then use the Junkyard Genius instead to make my guys. Yeah, but sadly they have so many... I don't think it's worth it. What I'm gonna do here is actually just draw a card from the Clay Revenant right away. There's no... I don't... They haven't too much life to do any kind of an attacks here. They can just take a bunch of damage and they don't even care about it too much. Okay, now with this, is it actually time to kill the Mineworker of all things? I think I actually prefer just casting this guy again. They might consider some kind of attacks now, of course, but I'm also at 20, so I wouldn't mind too much. But I think the Mineworker might be first target for the next explosion here, and the second one will be saved for the Siege Veteran they might draw at any point. But they're gonna make a very big token, and with this mana they have available, they will have another big token as well. That's just how it is gonna go. Okay, yeah, that I think I'm just gonna steal. Well, there is the Bitter Reunion, but nothing I want to discard yet. I think now if I draw a swamp, I will be discarding that. So, let's not start... I guess I can like jump with this thing and then draw a card. But maybe it's time to... They are tapped out and also... Let's do this if they wanna jump with the Blanchwood Prowler. They can do that. I guess I could, you know... sacrifice the Clay Revenant for the Junkyard Genius. But they will still have the Rust Goliath here. So I can't really attack with the... I guess I could attack with the Gixan Infiltrator. It would be +1 from the sacrifice and then +1 blow from these things. So they would double... If they double block with the Goliath and something else, I would be happy to trade with the Goliath. Or they can double block with 2 of these other guys, like the Prowler and the Opportunist, or Prowler and the Mutt actually. So I don't think it's worth it. There's no rush here. I can just, you know, I have an engine here. I have a card drawing engine here, so I shouldn't really try to rush this victory. And they don't even jump with the Prowler. Now I will draw a card. And the rivalry gave me another of these power stones, so I actually have a lot of mana for my so-called engine. I will leave this in my hand to discard for the reunion. Okay, that's a big thing. I might use double explosion on it actually, because it will. I have no means to deal with this guy otherwise, but I might still draw a power stone fracture, so we'll see. This guy only 1 to top, that is kind of good. Yeah, a siege veteran is still nasty. Now that's a good one, but let's start with this. This will also let me see 2 cards for 2 mana. Okay, well. I do have 2 power stone fractures, so maybe I'll just do the 1 research desk now. Try to dig into them. And the card quality I have here, it's a very good set of cards in here. Realization is gonna kill 3 of their things. Very nice. I like it. And now I could attack with the Infiltrator. They can double block with the Thopter and Goliath, but I think it's fine. They can double block with the Opportunist and the Goliath too, but actually I can give it one more. I can give it one more counter, so let's attack now. Like this. So let's just crack this, right? Deal 1 extra damage right away, and I wanna crack this anyway. I'm not getting decked here, so no worry about that. Okay, Juggernaut. That's a damage dealing card. And I have the opportunity to, you know, double explode this thing, but I can take this attack many times, and now that I was able to deal with a lot of the stuff, I have this, you know, this, I can actually do what I have been dreaming about for so long during this video, that I can actually start using these geniuses to push a lot of damage through. Currently with 2 swamps I have 2 activations for this, and they have only 3 creatures. If they make a big token with the Jade Crafter, that's only gonna be 4 creatures. If they wanna attack with the Thopter, that's 3 creatures, and they can of course block only 1. And if the sweet thing is that I can activate both geniuses once, so they give them each other menace too. So even they can't be blocked easily. Finally, I even have a 3rd one here. That's so sick. Now the opponent needs some really good stuff now. Are they gonna play anything? Not even a make a. They could make a 5/5 token, but they chose something else there. So I have to play the Juggernaut or lose it for good. So let's play the Juggernaut then. Let's do that. Alright, and then I have no more discard things, no much or anything, so I can just play the land, I believe. So let's play it. And I can give this guy haste with the Reunion and the Junkyard Genius. These explosions are also 6 damage to their face. Win with that. I think it's time to sack one of these. Should I just make an all-out attack? I mean, this is just so close to lethal now. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? Oh, I don't have the mana for it. Yeah, if I had 1 more mana, I would actually be able to activate the other genius. But still. Well, since I don't have any other things to do here, I'm just going to attack with... Well, I guess I'm not gonna attack with the other stuff then. Just as Juggernaut and the Infiltrator. Yeah, that's fine. I don't need to win this turn, but definitely if I was able to activate also this genius, I would have done that. And that, I mean, done that and attack with everything, because then they just can't block well. But they must have something. Paratrooper though isn't though the most scary thing. I can still give the infiltrator an extra counter by sacrificing the reunion here. Let's see how they block. If they want to block them both, they need to use all of their creatures now, of course. And if they take 6, they will die to the explosions unless they have ways to gain life. And here I can just kill the Thopter. That's all fine. Yeah, they don't like to block here on the Juggernaut at all. I guess they can make a big token. If they draw land or they have already a land, they could have, with extra land, they could make a 6/6 token with the Mask of the Jadecrafter. And 6/6 can just block the Juggernaut who has to attack. Although with me having 2 geniuses in here, I don't really think that's a plan they can rely on. Okay, let's kill the Thopter, it's the bigger one. And there's no point giving this an additional counter, it will die and it wouldn't be able to kill both of those. They are now dead to my explosions. And I still haven't shown my opponent that I have a third of these. Just look at this deck. Double research desk, triple genius, multiple... I mean, I have 3 explosions here. This is just crazy. All I need is them to tap out. And they also know that if they tap out, they will just lose to my all-out attack here. By me using Junkyard Genius twice. So they don't want to tap out. You know what? If you don't want to tap out, I want to see what you have to say to these things. Because I don't think they have anything to prevent from getting burned out. And I was able to use the Genius like once. That's enough. I'm not sure if I lost a game. Surely I won both games in the match 2, but did I lose a game in match 1? It doesn't matter, but of course this was just an insane deck and a kind of a nice way to end the drafts for this set on my channel. Also, I had a crazy win streak. I think my previous 11 drafts I have 3 times 2-1 and 8 times 3-0. I checked the 17 lands data before this event, and my last 10 traditional drafts are, which are all the drafts I've done, are 7-2-1s and 3-2-1s and 7-3-0s. Now that I got one more 3-0s, so my previous 11 drafts are 8 3-0s and 3 2-1s. That's just crazy. But yeah, the Genius is really good, even though it kind of wasn't even needed to win these games. But yeah, Research Desk was amazing. I had a nice little bit of an engine with the Clay Revenant. I was able to use both the Strong Bull and the Thrax Demon with it. Nice little synergy piece, and I even got to redraft the Mythic Rare Retro Artifact. But yeah, nice deck. Definitely nothing much to say about the deck, and claim the prize here. And with this, that's it for the Brothers War. Like I said, I'm very fond of this format. Also, I had a lot of success that does affect my... I mean, it's easier to like a format where you do well. For example, Neon Dynasty, I did very badly in that, and it's a great set. It has a few things I don't like about it that much, but it's of course the second best set out of these standard sets that currently are in standard in terms of the draft format, I mean. But yeah, the Brothers War was just somehow so versatile. You could draft a certain color combination and have many different builds. There were a bunch of bomb rays, but yeah, not like too heavy impact. A lot of them are still creatures, and this format has a lot of removal. And 1/1 removal also is good in this format, unlike in Neon Dynasty, which was so value filled that the 1/1 removal was like a mediocre in there. So usually you will have removal in your decks, and you will be able to at least deal with some of the bomb creatures. Of course, something like a Titania's Command is just crazy, but that's only like one one of the, I mean, that's the best card, I think. Not, yeah, best card for sure in this set. Wormgoal Engine is good too because it's colorless, but if you are already green, Titanus Command is always going to be better than Wormgoal Engine by a pretty far margin, pretty large margin. Yeah, but I'm showing this page here to you guys because the next video will be actually, if you're watching this on the same day I upload it, or rather publish this video, the next video will be me opening all these packs, and I will show my draft stats, how much, how many gems it cost me for me to complete the Brothers War main set, and also the Retro Artifact seed and the Brothers War Alchemy seed. These were all, I didn't buy any alchemy packs, these were all rewards from the the drafts. There was 1 week of premier drafts for this alchemy. I had a few of those on my channel too. So I will open all these packs and show my draft stats, how much it cost to complete the set, and then after that we of course get to move to Phyrexia, all will be one, and I will see you then as well. So anyway, thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.